I'm Greg Street, originally from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Been in radio for a long time, kind of got into it, doing music, being a fan of music, loving music. All of my siblings are older than me, so they introduced me to a lot of things in music at an early age, as far as like from records and, component sets and stereos and buying records, buying albums, to collecting albums, to just really getting into it. And the DJ aspect kind of came from when I was really small, like 6, 7 years old. My mom bought me a guitar, so I took guitar lessons. And after I stopped really playing a lot, and I started getting into DJing, my first DJ sound system was my guitar amp, my PV 212 Classic. That was actually my first sound system to DJ with as a kid. So I guess some of my life-changing experiences was soon after getting into DJing, being in school, me and one of my friends, we decided to start advertising our little parties on the radio. So we'll go to the radio station and meet a guy by the name of HOWDIGH. Then eventually I met the owner of the radio station, Vernon C. Floyd. Turns out Vernon C. Floyd went to high school with my mom in Mobile, Alabama at Mobile County Training School. So worked at that station for a while and learning just about radio there. That's, I guess, was the pivoting point of what my life changed as far as radio is concerned. And small town radio on the urban side is a whole lot different because it's not as many people to work, so it's not a lot of money. It's for budgets for personalities. So after working there for a minute, I got a real good friend of mine by the name of Robert Neal. Rob Neal, he worked in New Orleans, he had worked in Hattiesburg, he had worked in Laurel, he had worked in Louisiana and a few other places, and he one of my OGs in radio. He kind of just took me under his arm, and he was actually working at a pop station, and then he got a job working at a station that everybody in the South loves. It's really like one of the stations, I guess, that kind of pioneered this whole R&B hip hop format from a pop standpoint, out of New Orleans, Louisiana, Well 105, and we used to kind of listen to Well 105 from Hattiesburg at night. You could hear the station at night because it's only 90 miles away. It was a 100,000 watt FM station, so we could hear it. And just a lot of those different experiences. I got a chance to go to Well 105 and visit the station. And by my mom being from Mobile and my dad being from Lucedale, which is 30 miles away from Mobile, I used to be in Mobile a lot with my cousins and my uncles and my uncles and aunts and cousins and family. So fast forward, one of the guys who I worked with when I first went to WRV, which was the first station, he got a job in the Carolinas, so he left. And I actually left the station too and went to a white station, a white AC station, WHSY. And that's kind of like, that was another turning point, learning like formatics and timing and how clocks work and how to record Paul Howard at the top of the hour that plays back at 20, how to make sure your last song you played going into the top of the hour ID was back time to be perfect to the second to go up to the news, to go into the news at top of the hour. So just timing and formatics, I learned a lot of that from working in white radio, in white AC radio at WHSY. So the guy who mentioned, Tony Brown, he eventually gets a job as the program director in Mobile at 93 BLX, which is like one of the biggest stations on the coast. You had BLX in Mobile, and you had Q90, Well 105, which was gone by then. Then you had Q93, WYOD in New Orleans. Those are like some of the biggest stations on the coast. So Tony gets a job at 93 BLX as the program director, and he comes back and hires Skip Cheatham to do afternoons, who also worked with us in Hattiesburg. And he hired me to do 6 to 10 in the evening, which everything was changing over to the hip hop at that time, because before that it was 7 to midnight. You had the Quiet Storm and all that with Sunny Love. So then I came in and started doing 6 to 10. And that was, 1987, 88, like 88. So that was like the birth of me doing 6 o'clock. So fast forward, in 1990, Tony got a job to go to Houston to be a program director. And actually the station was Magic 102 in Houston. Like I said, Tony Brown gets a job to be the program director in Houston. Actually, he hired 2 program directors because Munchie Lang, who was the former general manager of the station, wanted Ron Atkins, and the other general manager wanted Tony Brown. So they hired actually both of them. And we went to Houston. That was May of 1990. And I went to Houston with him. He actually went a few months earlier than I went, right after he went. And that was like the start of major market, going from market size 88 to market size 7, which was huge for radio, for a radio announcer anyway, from a small town. I think I'm looking at New Orleans and Mobile as a kid as being like the the big markets. Then I'm going to Houston. Then after Houston, I went to Dallas. After Dallas, I came to Atlanta in '95. So that's pretty much like the journey. I mean, it's always a life-changing experience when it comes to the music business. In '99, 2000, I did an album on a major label. In fact, it dropped this week, 20 years ago. 6 O'Clock Volume 1. That was crazy. The guy who actually signed me was Mike Karen. A lot of people in the music business know about Mike Karen. He was actually 18 years old. His dad, I think, is a doctor, and he was good friends with Craig Kallman, the chairman at Atlantic Records. And Craig hired Mike and gave him an A&R job. He called me on a Saturday afternoon at home one day. Hey, look, I've talked to some people about you, and how'd you like to make an album? I'm like, cool. Fast forward, Mike went on to form his own company, his own publishing company through Warner Chappell, signed a lot of big people to the label, made a lot of big moves. But some of my biggest life-changing experiences would be, I guess, like, giving back is the big thing for me. Just trying to help people genuinely. It's kind of strange too, like in our day and time, because everybody think if you're trying to help somebody, it's something you trying to get out of the deal. Like, what am I missing? Am I missing something? Why are you just nice to me? And I guess in our generation, it's just so uncommon for people to just not be, I'm not doing nothing for you if you're not doing nothing for me. And I mean, that's not really the way to get down. As far as I'm concerned, I think blessings truly come from God, and sometimes Dr. Mansour told me at a Black History Month program in 1998 at Morris Brown High School, one of the biggest issues that we have in our community is expectations. Everybody tries to calculate what they're trying to get. You know, if I get Rover to do this video, then I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get this. You know, it's not always like that. Sometimes you have to just look around. You may be trying to do something with somebody that you're ignoring because you're so busy looking at, you know, Jay-Z gonna do me a verse and Timberland gonna do me a beat. It may be an unknown producer over here that's trying to get at you, that's got the next heat. You know what I'm saying? The Metro Boomin little homie may be over here on the other side trying to get at you and you ignoring him. But if you just really study whatever it is that you're into, you can actually watch how people progress, and when you go do your homework on their background, it really wasn't scientific. You know what I'm saying? When you're making moves, when you're making music, when you're doing business, most businesses are not artistic. It's not like because you got a college degree, you're gonna go into that business and you're gonna be a billionaire. It's like when you have your college degree, that gives you the foundation and the knowledge to really know how to move and execute and understand what makes the thing work. But the relationships and observing your natural habitat and what's going on around you and not just what you're expecting, sometimes, most of the times, will be the big thing that's gonna separate you from this other person over here that you're looking up to, that you don't think you can achieve or that you can be better than, that you can be on the same level as, that you can compete with. Sometimes it's gonna come out of left field from somebody you would never imagine. So, you know, sometimes people on your team are just as knowledgeable as the people that you're admiring, but just because they don't have the success at the time doesn't mean that they can't have the success, because it's all about team. It's all about a team. You know, it's all about teamwork. One of the examples I use a lot is if I'm a Cordon Bleu certified chef, everybody want to eat my food. Everybody say I cook good, I'm the best chef. I open up a restaurant and my plate's nasty, I got food on my forks, my bathroom is nasty. People not gonna wanna come to my restaurant. So people may look at the janitor and the dishwasher as being the lowest person on the totem pole, but they really have a very, very, their job is very important. So, you know what I'm saying? I guess the moral of the story is like the old joke about the bird flying south for the summer and he he flies into this pasture in Tennessee, and a bird comes along, but bird's in the tree. He's flying south for the winter, flies into a tree, hurts his wing in the tree and falls to the ground. A cow comes along and shit on the bird. Springtime comes, a chicken comes along, kick the shit off the bird, and eat the bird. So the moral of the story is, everybody who shit on you ain't your enemy, and everybody who takes shit off you ain't your friend. I knew that was some Rover shit. Let me reiterate, listen, man, take care of the people that take care of you. Look out for the people that look out for you. Don't make all your moves with expectations. Of course, you want to be smart in how you move and how you invest, and not just invest your money, but your time and just things that you can do for others. Like I was just at North Clay Middle School. They playing their first playoff game tonight for the 21-22 season. They won the region 2 years ago before the pandemic, so they hoping they're going back to back. And I was explaining to the kids like about reading, and the example was I brought up the quarterback, the cheerleader captain, the volleyball team captain, and some other students that were like above grade level readers, and just make them understand like if the quarterback doesn't show up for practice for a week, what's going to happen when they get on the field on game day? If the volleyball captain don't show up for practice, what's going to happen when they on game day? If the cheerleader captain don't show up for practice, what's going to happen on game day when they got to perform? And it all leads me into a program that I created in 2005 called the We Need to Read program, where I inspire kids to read about the things that they love to do and the things that they aspire to do, what they want to be. Because we have so much access to information now through technology. You can be so smart if you just take a small portion of this time you use to goof off, minding somebody else's business, trying to get in homegirl pants, trying to worry about what kind of Jordans homeboy got on, or he don't have the new fresh Yeezys, or she don't have that. You can read about what you like to do and what you want to be for 30 minutes a day. And in less than 6 months, not only will you be an expert, in less than 3 months, if you're in school, you'll be an above grade level reader. Meaning now you're not intimidated by the book. Because most kids read below grade level because they don't practice. Like the football player, or the cheerleader, or the volleyball captain. If you don't practice, you don't get better. So when you go to class and the teacher says, hey, Sky, read chapter 15, we're taking a test tomorrow. If Sky is a below grade level reader, and she don't read all the time, she got to read that chapter 4 or 5 times to try to interpret what the hell is going on. Because you got to take a test tomorrow. But if you practice, if you read about what you like to do, if you read about what you want to be, these things are interesting to you, so you're going to interpret and digest the information faster because it's something that you like. Now you're an above grade level reader. Now you're an excellent reader because you're engaging into something that you like. So when you go to history, science, English, classes that you don't like to read the information on, now this information is so easy to read because now you're a great reader because you read the same words. It ain't but one dictionary. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. So, and the same words mean the same word when you read about skateboarding means the same thing when you read that word in science. So now you can interpret faster and you don't have to go back and try to look up this word and figure out what it means, and you got to read this over and over again to try to digest it. Your level of interpretation is going up. So now you can move on. You can be great because you're not intimidated by the book. That's just one of the programs that I do for kids to inspire them to understand how easy it is to be whatever it is you want to be. You can be whatever it is you want to be. It's in the knowledge. The knowledge, and knowledge is everywhere. Just like bullshit is everywhere. You know, the knowledge is there too. I tell my homeboys like Rover all the time, man, the internet for our community is really the new form of slavery. Like, we don't understand, like, man, we got beautiful women on the internet that dress up and put makeup on just to take pictures and video of how good they look to see how many likes and views that they're gonna get. They're not selling nothing. I don't think they're selling it. But, you know, but if you have a product, people don't realize the internet is so powerful. If you have a product and you got 10 or 20,000 followers, you can make $1 million. So if you got 300,000 or 400,000 followers because you post great pictures of yourself every day, everybody, oh yeah, girl, you looking so good on that picture. Oh yeah. Hey, what's your DM full of guys trying to get at you, which just makes it's more for you to go through to try to figure out what's going on with these lanes, and you're not selling nothing. You can make money on the internet. This is a tool. Like, this is a serious tool. So throughout my career, this has always been my mindset, to look at something and figure it out, how I can go to the positive side of it versus being on the, not necessarily the negative side, but just being on the side with the extra bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you get into something, there's always a side, like, that you can go left or you can go right. There's always a section that can benefit you than a section that can hurt you. You know, from the people that you hang around to the things that you like to do. We like to do a lot of things that can really get us behind in life, from chasing men and women, alcohol, drugs, gossip, just negative fighting, violence, just negativity, period. Negativity is just something that's never gonna get you on the positive side. Even if you wanna be a boxer, you still gotta figure out how you're gonna put the positive element into it to be able to get to this position that you wanna be in. Even if you wanna be a fighter or a wrestler, where you can capitalize on that violence or that rage that you got inside. You gotta figure out how can I take this and put it on the positive side. You know what I'm saying? I look at all these kids stealing cars and if you really love cars, you see how many cars in Atlanta get wrecked every day? You see all these insurance, law firms advertising that they do accidental cases to get all this money. So if I really like cars, just like they making all this money off of these court cases, somebody making a whole lot of money fixing these cars, painting these cars, selling the wrecked cars, towing the wrecked cars. There's a whole industry there. So if you really love cars, get on the positive. You don't have to steal them. You get on the positive side of it. You know, I just try to always look at the positive side of things, and I think that's always when you start looking and training your mind to look at things in a better light than the negative side. That's always gonna bring you life-changing moments. It's always gonna bring you life-changing situations. You're gonna have so many it's never gonna be just one life-changing situation when you're constantly thinking about the positive that you can do with something or that you can get out of something. And you know, that's just me. I'm Greg Street. 6 o'clock time for Street to Rock, People Station, V103. We got some clothing line products coming up, projects coming up, more events coming up, car and bike shows. Sneaker Friends is gonna be back for 2022, if not the end of 2021. Working on a fishing TV show. Been watching me and the homies out there doing the bass angling thing. Like I said, it's always, you gotta look at the positive side of the things that you have passion for. And when you look at the positive side of things you have passion for, you don't even have to look for the paycheck. The paycheck gonna look for you. The money gonna look for you. And I'm Greg Street. That's how I get out.